When I look at something that's really vibrant and energetic, especially African fabrics, hey, I'm all in, and you can't stop me.
So I had the awesome opportunity to sit down with Sharbreon, who is, of course, a textile artist, but I also got the opportunity to sit down with a real life quilter. So it's like those two worlds came together in real time, and y'all, the convo was amazing. Tune in.
But when I look at something that's really vibrant and energetic, especially African fabrics, hey, I'm all in, and you can't stop me. A lot of times I start something. I do have unfinished projects. They're called UFOs. So I try to finish up. This is a UFO that I had from last year. And it's on the way of being completed now. Good evening, I'm Charlene Morrison, and I'm the owner of Quilting My Way. I have had my own company for maybe about 6 years, and I am a quilter. I specialize in one-of-a-kind quilts, so you will not see my quilts anywhere else other than one time. I have been crafting and sewing all my life. I started sewing at age 12. My mother taught me how to sew. I used to sit and watch her sew for hours and caught the bug, never got rid of it. But about 15 years ago, I was interested in quilting. I decided to help my church with a volunteer raffle quilt. So after I started that, I decided I wanted to start quilting on my own. I quilt every day because I just love the craft, and it really relaxes me and makes me feel at peace when I'm doing it. I also teach quilting at Brentwood Baptist Church to ladies and gentlemen. We don't have any men currently, but it's open to men who want to learn how to quilt. I feel that it's really important to let people know the crafts that are slowly disappearing in our black neighborhoods. So many of the Caucasians and other ethnicities are quilting, but very few African Americans. And when African Americans do, there's no unity or grouping of quilters like there is a strong grouping in the Caucasian community. I will teach someone how to quilt from their very start, from learning how to use their machine, cutting out the fabric, actually doing their own quilting. But some people just do not feel comfortable quilting their own, so they will quilt by check. And that simply means that they will make the top, select the backing for their quilt, and then farm it out to someone else to do. All of my quilts I've professionally quilted myself, with the exception of one king-size quilt that I did. I really enjoy the business part of it because when someone calls me up, first of all, I want to know, okay, how did you find me? Because I'm just on Google. I don't do a whole lot of social media posting. And really that is one of my downfalls because I still work full time. So when someone does call, basically I find out what they like and who they are. What is your personality? Do you like bright colors? Do you like subdued colors? What is it that interests you? And then after that, we decide exactly what it is that I'm going to make for them. My color sense is great. And a lot of quilters, they may be excellent quilters, really make beautiful things. But if you don't have that unique color combination, then you're not going to be able to pull it all together. It's not going to look like my quilts look. I can use at least 50, 75, 100 colors in one quilt, and it would just flow, and you will never know that I use that many colors. And I also work with a lot of African American fabrics. That is my specialty. I love using wax fabrics from Africa. It's just something about it. It's so unique, and most people are afraid to even cut it up. A lot of it is so beautiful, but in quilting, what you do is you just cut up fabric and you sew it back together. So what you're looking at now is some of my fabrics. I would say this is probably maybe half of the fabrics that I own. This is housing probably about 80% of my quilts. It's getting a little full, so I will be giving some away soon because it's just too full, and I have some other places in my home. But I'm able at a moment's touch to pull out and show some of my work, or to prepare them for a lecture. But whenever I'm out of town, I always buy fabrics. Because that's half of the fun. I've gotten fabric in Europe, in London. I bought some lace in Bruges. Bought fabric in Paris, in Canada. I'm going to Ghana in June, so I will be making sure I have room in suitcase for that as well. My goals have changed because of COVID. 2-year drought of very little interaction with anyone really changed things, and I really kind of lost some of my focus. But then I got a call back to do a custom quilt for a gentleman out of state, and it kind of pushed me back into the mode that I was previously in. I also had a lecture for a quilt guild, and also got a call for another lecture in a few months that I plan to do. Unless people realize that this is truly an art, that it may eventually 40, 50 years from now be non-existent in our community. The future for me, I plan to retire soon from my full-time job as a nurse. And I hope to devote more time towards the craft that I really love. And with that being said, I hope to develop my business a little bit better. I want to take some more classes on drawing and design, because right now the trend is for Afrocentric quilts that are expressive in political views, and also stylistic facial type quilting. So recently did a quilt on jazz. So the focus is totally moving away from traditional quilts, which are big quilts and ones that look like blocks, to more ornate designing quilts that will have several different patterns, a lot of applique, and a lot of quilting.
So when you're creating, is there anything that inspires you, or is it sometimes, or are you the type of artist that, you know, you see something and you're like, I need to get in and make it, or does it just come in different waves? How does your inspiration hit you?
I'll be inspired if I see something, a piece of fabric that I like. I'm like, oh, I got to have that. I've got to find some more fabrics to go with this. And it starts off sometimes with one piece of fabric. And it's just really exciting when you find a piece of fabric that speaks your language. So this machine is called a mid-arm machine, and basically it's a quilting machine, and all it does is quilt. But the reason it's called a mid-arm is because a long arm is maybe 6 feet longer than this. And so since I have limited space, I'm able to quilt the width of this machine and then push the fabric down as I need it. This machine is fairly easy to use, and it is very efficient.
How can people contact you?
Okay, they can contact me directly by phone number, or they can go to my website, which is quiltingmyway.com, and I can also be found on Facebook, Artist and Teacher.